Tonight on Cronkite News, how women service members and veterans are impacted by recent changes within the military.
Plus, if you're flying somewhere for Thanksgiving, we've got the latest on traffic and wait times at Sky Harbor Airport.
And the Territorial Cup is almost here, and there's something special about this game, something that hasn't happened in over 10 years. Find out what it is in the Cronkite Sports Report. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Emily Fox-Millian.
And I'm Andy Romike. Thank you for joining us. We start the show with news tonight out of our nation's capital. 2 National Guard members from West Virginia were shot near the White House. They're in critical condition, according to the Associated Press, as of this recording. A suspect has been taken into custody, and that suspect also was shot and has non-life-threatening injuries. Vice President J.D. Vance talked about the shooting late today.
It's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America.
And Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is currently weighing his options on how to punish Arizona Senator Mark Kelly for alleged misconduct. This comes after a recent video posted by Kelly and 5 other Democratic lawmakers with military backgrounds calling on U.S. service members to disobey illegal orders. The Trump administration has called the video seditious. Kelly's involvement in the video is currently under review by the Pentagon. Hegseth has hinted at one potential option, administratively reducing Kelly's military rank and pension. Hegseth could also recall Kelly to active duty to face a court-martial, but legal experts say this is unlikely given his current standing as a senator.
Meanwhile, Secretary Hegseth is looking to rework the military in his own image and questioning women's roles in the armed forces. Cronkite News reporter Macy Markham sat down with some female veterans to talk about what this means for women's progress in the service.
You know, my dad was military, my grandpa was military, I have 6 brothers, and I've been in all these, and I was on a ship in the service.
Nicole Pogue, accustomed to being the only woman in the room.
So there's an expectation there to fit into that status quo. And I didn't really know how to be a woman and what that even meant.
When you join the military, you're expected to uphold a certain standard. And a lot of times that standard isn't built for women.
Joanne Mendoza knows firsthand the long, slow battle for equality in the service.
There were years before they actually designed boots and a uniform for a woman specifically.
In fact, it wasn't until 2013 the U.S. Army offered a combat uniform designed for women.
We did all of the things that our male counterparts did in bigger clothes, bigger uniforms, boots that didn't necessarily fit us. And so I think there was a lot of things that we've had to overcome.
Since the revolution, women have been part of the U.S. military story. During the Civil War, women became spies and disguised as soldiers. And by World War I, women were officially enlisting. The Hello Girls connected calls on the front lines in France. And by World War II, all branches enlisted women, but their numbers were capped. Over time, women became generals, flew combat missions, and in 2008, Ann Dunwoody became the Army's first female 4-star general. Now, in 2025, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has launched the biggest rollback of women's military programs since the 1940s.
Yeah, it's felt. But it's felt every day by this demographic because this is never going to stop.
Secretary Hegseth has also called for returns to the highest male standard, but combat standards are already gender neutral, and his cuts are hitting now.
The sexual assault prevention and response program is being gutted because this new secretary thinks that it's part of woke culture.
Since 2001, nearly a quarter of women in the military experienced sexual assault, including Mendoza.
I am someone who I am a military sexual assault survivor.
Their sense of losing ground is hard to ignore.
This document here, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, right? That's what I signed up for, to swear, defend the Constitution. When a woman does that, when a person does that, that's all that should ultimately matter.
For now, Pogue and Mendoza are on quests of their own. Pogue's the executive director of a women's veteran group serving a new mission, creating a space for women like her, where the requirements to join are simple.
Did you sign that dotted line up to and including your life? Yes? Roger that. We were going to serve you.
Mendoza is on a run for Congress. The representative currently holding that seat, Republican Juan Ciscomani, did not respond to numerous requests for comment. In Phoenix, Macy Markham, Cronkite News.
Secretary Hegseth has walked back the cancellation of the sexual assault prevention response programs, instead saying that they are being revised.
A Georgia prosecutor has formally dismissed the racketeering case against President Donald Trump and more than a dozen co-defendants. You'll recognize this mugshot as the one Trump was forced to provide in August of 2023 at an Atlanta jail. The case stemmed from allegations that Trump tried to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. The original prosecutor, Fani Willis, was removed from the case and a special prosecutor later took over. He said on Wednesday that the case faced significant legal obstacles and any trial would be delayed well into the next decade. The decision effectively ends Trump's criminal exposure in Georgia over the 2020 election.
A new move by the U.S. Department of the Interior will require foreign tourists to pay a fee of $100 per person to enter some of America's national parks. This is in addition to the entrance fees. The new fee applies to 11 of the most visited parks, including the Grand Canyon. This change starts in January, and foreign tourists will have two options: either pay $100 per person entrance fees or buy an annual pass for $250. According to the Department of the Interior, this is all part of the Trump administration's America First policy, and this all comes during a decline in international tourism to the states, largely fueled by changes to tariff policies and immigration crackdowns.
Pesticide use in farming has been a highly debated topic for years, with opponents outlining potential risks and farmers backing their importance. Our own broadcast reporter Kavish Siddhartha went to the southwestern corner of Arizona, a major agriculture hub, to find out more.
Yuma, which produces the majority of U.S. lettuce during the winter months, is dominated by large operations. Fields stretching for many miles and contracts with national distributors. Next to the agricultural giants are smaller family-run farms, like the one co-owned by John Boltz, the president of the Arizona Farm Bureau. His Desert Premium Farms is navigating the same challenges around labor, regulation, environmental, and public health pressures.
What we're trying to accomplish out here is to produce people's food and fiber and do it in the most ecologically, environmentally, and responsible way possible.
Research shows that farm workers who handle or work near pesticides face higher risks of respiratory problems and long-term health effects, including cancer and neurological conditions. Bolt says his farm uses pesticides to protect crops from pests, weeds, and diseases. He says all workers at the Desert Premium Farms go through training prior to working in the fields to minimize risk.
We don't want to hurt anyone. That's the main thing. We don't want people to get sick or...
Andres Elizarraras, who oversees a crew responsible for applications of pesticides, says safety is paramount and that every application is documented.
We fill out what's called a 1080 form. Once we complete it, we turn it into the state, and they have record of what time, in case someone does get sick, we can go back and see the times that we sprayed them.
Yuma County employs more than 80% of the state's agricultural workforce. The county has more than 65,000 farm workers, including about 16,000 migrant workers. Many of those migrant workers cross the Mexico-Arizona border each morning using H-2 visas, which allow the hiring of foreign nationals for temporary or seasonal farm work. Francisco Alvarado is one of those workers who is a sprayer for Desert Premium Farms.
We have to use suits, masks, gloves, carbon filters on the tractors so that the smell doesn't pass through. And yes, we can have training when something happens, like washing our hands, our face, and our body.
If farming doesn't continue to advance using technology, like good new pesticides that come onto the market, we're going to really struggle to feed a growing world population and keep that food affordable.
In Yuma, this is Kavish Siddhartha, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, the story of a local nonprofit with a goal to help communities beyond the border.
Yeah, that's right, Emily. This organization helps families in Mexico through charitable acts. What they're doing to help establish a middle class in Mexico after the break.
And I'm Kayla McDonald here in the Cronkite Weather Center. We'll have your Thanksgiving and your Territorial Cup forecast coming up after the break.
An Arizona nonprofit began almost 40 years ago with one goal: to help people facing poverty across the border. Cronkite News reporter Sydney Loven takes us to a border city in Mexico to see how this project is changing people's lives today.
How do you solve this border problem? You solve it by providing people the opportunity to live and raise their families with dignity in their home country of Mexico. We were going to eat too much turkey, drink too much beer, and watch football. Well, how many times can you do that when you know that a mere 4-hour drive from your home in Scottsdale, Arizona, there are people without the basic needs of the human condition? And at that moment, I said, you know, I just can't pretend that this isn't going on. We have to help. You change the trajectory of a young family by educating the children, by giving the parents work opportunities, health care access. To me, there's no greater power than changing the entire trajectory of a family. Here you go, buddy.
Está vacío aquí.
Yeah. The people.
Así. Mis hermanos, mi papá me ayudaron a hacer. No, pues muy contenta, muy agradecida.
Hola.
Muy contenta porque ya mis hijos tienen un lugar ya seguro donde estar.
Rancho Feliz and its donors have invested well in excess of $20 million into local infrastructure, which is pretty cool. The thousands and thousands of volunteer hours that we've invested down here, we can actually see a difference. Things are improving. Well, the Vecinos neighborhood is one of my favorite projects. The one thing that I do want to make very clear with charity, we are not welfare. Nothing's free here. Because when you give people something they didn't earn, you disempower them. They pay in about $170 a month. Once that number has risen to $26,000, which is what it cost us to build, we deed the home over to them. We've transferred all but 9 deeds and created over $2 million in equity that we've transferred to these homeowners. We've literally created a Mexican middle class. By virtue of being chosen, qualifying for a home, your child was eligible for a private scholarship.
Nos sentimos muy bendecidos con esa oportunidad de estar aquí porque los niños han tenido la oportunidad de estar en una escuela particular que si sacamos cuentas, si no estuvieran los niños becados por Rancho Feliz, sería muy complicado. No podríamos mantenerlos en una escuela con ese nivel educativo que tiene.
Ángel, mi hijo mayor, está estudiando en Hermosillo, capital de Sonora. Ya se va a graduar, está estudiando ingeniería civil. Santiago, el más chico, está por graduarse de la prepa, Colegio Benemérito de las Américas. Aún estamos viendo qué es lo que él quiere estudiar. Es algo relacionado a medicina.
I may not solve the world's problem, but that little kid who's going to be able to get in school, I solved his problem, you know.
Pues la verdad, yo estoy muy contenta porque fue una gran oportunidad para mí, para mi familia, para mis hijos, verlos crecer, el estudio que ellos tienen ahorita, a cómo crecieron. Tengo unos grandes hijos, gracias a Dios. Ellos tuvieron la mejor oportunidad al haber vivido aquí.
Es una comunidad muy unida, somos como una familia. Es una familia, todos. Sabes que no estás solo estando aquí. Nosotros no tenemos familia aquí, toda nuestra familia está en Hermosillo, pero nos sentimos en familia con toda la comunidad.
porque si lo pierdes, pierdes el camino. Ya le diste uno, ya le diste dos, ya le diste tres y tu tiempo se acabó.
So there is hope. We can make a difference. We just need to have a larger vision than me, me, me. This incorrigible fixation on the vertical pronoun I.
According to the founder, 28,000 volunteers have joined Rancho Feliz, and they only hope to continue the momentum to help other people.
It's the busiest time for airplane travel as people journey to their Thanksgiving dinners. The FAA expects 17.8 million travelers in the U.S. airports over the next few days. In Arizona, Sky Harbor officials expect today and Sunday to be the busiest days in Arizona. Roadways will receive the bulk of travel, so airport officials recommend that those dropping off travelers go to the 44th Street or 24th Street train station.
And I'm wondering what kind of weather we'll get for Turkey Day, but I'm sure Phoenix Turkey Trot runners, are hoping for lots of sun. Kayla McDonald joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's gonna feel pretty nice, and this evening our temperatures are feeling nice as well. We're in the 60s and 70s this evening, and as that sun sets, we're gonna get pulled into those early morning temperatures where it's below freezing up north once again. 26 in Flagstaff, 23 at the Grand Canyon. That is cold. And for the valley, we're in the 40s and 50s, 54 for Phoenix and 49 for Gila Bend. And for those highs, it is toasty down in the valley with that high of 78 in Phoenix and 77 in Gila Bend, but it won't stay like that for long. Up north, it's in the 50s, 54 for Flagstaff, 55 for the Grand Canyon. And for Thanksgiving, although we have some toastier temperatures, we will have some clouds present. It'll be sunny and cloudy, so it should still feel nice for your outdoor Thanksgiving activities with that high of 78 and a low of 54. And the very next day after that is the Territorial Cup, where the Sun Devils take on the Wildcats in Mountain America Stadium. Sparky's Tailgate is at 4:30 p.m., where we should see temperatures of 73 degrees with some clouds, and concerts on the steps where the Sun Devil Marching Band will perform some of their tunes outside of the stadium, and it should be nice as the sun's setting with 69 degrees. And kickoff, the moment we'll all be waiting for. So the sun will be down and it'll be a nice temperature of 66 degrees where those clouds will move out and it'll be clear skies that night. Going into that 8-day forecast, we have those nice highs where those highs will continue to drop off. Sunday, we have a 30% chance of rain overnight, and early Monday morning, those clouds will clear out for sunny skies on Monday. And mid next week, those clouds should return. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Kayla McDonald.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up next, it's the Cronkite Sports Report.
Absolutely. You'll hear the story of a kicking facility right here in Arizona ran by a legendary kicking family.
Say that, I was able to experience that was just such a huge blessing. The beautiful thing about kicking and the best thing about kicking is everybody is different.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how this family is helping train the next special team stars.
Great job, girl.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Farah Bojalid. Thank you for joining us. With Friday fast approaching, the intensity around the Territorial Cup matchup between Arizona and Arizona State continues to rise, and the college football playoff added a little extra to that. For the first time since 2014, both the Wildcats and Sun Devils will enter their game ranked. The CFP committee announced last night that ASU would go into the weekend ranked 20th, while U of A is 25th. They represent 2 of the 5 Big 12 teams currently ranked. And these rankings have just added another storyline to this already heated rivalry, with this game looking to be one of the more competitive territorial cups in recent memory. Both teams understand the challenges that lay ahead.
Obviously, they're one of the best teams in the conference. You see how effectively they're running the football right now, how much they've changed with the quarterback and just what that is and what that's become, finding ways to win football games, finding ways to run the hell out of the football. And so to me, we know like rivalry games just have so much to them that make them so fun and exciting. But then when you have 2 teams coming together that are both playing good football, I think it just adds a little extra juice to it.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing as good a football as anybody in our league, like I said. I mean, and I truly believe it's that core of guys, that have stayed there, over the last 3 years and saw the ultimate success and saw an outlier in last year, and then they're back to where they were in the team they were a couple of years ago. And I really think it's those guys.
Each team has also taken their own path to 8-3. The Sun Devils have been the kings of close games, going 5-0 in one-score games against Big 12 opponents. And on the other side, the Wildcats have done well at putting opponents away. They currently have an average margin of victory of nearly 2 touchdowns. How close the game is in the fourth quarter just might determine who the winner is. Maui Mo and ASU men's hoops played USC in the finals in the Maui Invitational today. And after 2 high-scoring games, the Sun Devils look to keep their offensive momentum going. Mo Odom and Masamba Diop lead the way for the Devils, but too many fouls by ASU. An USC team that was hot behind the arc turned into ASU's second loss of the season, 88-75. The kicking aspect of a football is more important, especially when you're relying on them to make the game-winning kick. In Phoenix, there's a training facility that is dedicated to the team that is ran by members of a legendary kicking family here in Lopez has more with the story.
And then we're in the package seconds.
Okay.
Alex Zendejas Sr. and Jr. is a place where kickers, punters, and long snappers could come to get specialized training to help them out on the football field.
We're huge on mechanics. We're huge on development. And an environment like this one and kind of really guiding these Pop Warner kids, high school kids, college kids, even the NFL level.
For more than 2 decades, Zendejas Sr. has been coaching special teams across Arizona high schools, even coaching his son Alex Jr., who went on to become a 3-year starting kicker at the University of Arizona.
To say that, I was able to experience that was just such a huge blessing. The beautiful thing about kicking and the best thing about kicking is everybody is different. So, the way my uncles kicked, the way my dad kicked, the way I kicked, nobody's going to kick the same way.
For the Zendejas family, kicking isn't just a skill, it's a legacy. 7 different Zendejas made it to D1 level, 3 of them made it pro, all within 2 generations.
Growing up, it wasn't one of those things, okay, here's Zendejas, you had to kick. It was never pressured into doing it. It was never forced. It was just something that I kind of really fell in love with.
Tim Tynan, who played at Basha and now kicks at Riverside City College in California, has been with AZ Kicking for 6 years and now helps out developing younger kickers who are walking the same path he once did.
To interact with so many people that have the same goal as me, and that's just the situation I want to be in, and getting to help others, but also learn how to better myself every single day. It's really just every kicker's dream to be able to have a place like this.
The AZ Kicking family will continue to help kids reach their goal of playing D1 football and add to the Zendejas kicking tree. In Phoenix, Johan Lopez for Cronkite News.
That's it for tonight's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Farah Bojalad. Now back to Emily and Andy at the desk.
Thanks, Farah. I'm getting so excited for the holiday season. I love the trees and the lights, and I know that the state capitol is getting a really unique Christmas tree this year.
That's right, Emily. The capitol will be getting a 30-foot pinyon pine gifted by the Wallapai Nation. The tree was carefully harvested, on the tribe's reservation, a fitting choice from a community whose name means people of the tall pines. Governor Katie Hobbs says that the gift highlights both Arizona's landscape and its partnership with tribal communities. The tree will take its spot in the Capitol Rotunda, with the official lighting set for December 1st, just in time to kick off the holiday season.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Emily Fox-Millian.
And I'm Andy Romike. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for joining us.